So what do you do when you feel like you're in a writing slump, when the ideas just aren't coming to you, or you just don't even feel like writing at all? Hey, everybody, I'm Ricky Heller from rickyheller.com. I'm a writer, book coach, and editor, and I help you finally get that book done so you can get your ideas into the world and share your magic with other people. They want to hear it. So when I completed my PhD, it was an incredibly stressful time of my life. I was having panic attacks. I was anxiety filled. It was a huge long haul. So when I finally finished my PhD and passed my exams, it was like this huge exhale. And I remember I just felt completely enervated, like I had no energy for anything. And I lost my desire to read fiction or write for like 2 years. I don't think I read a book for like a couple of years. I just needed to get my brain back online and really recoup and just start to get some more energy back and some motivation and excitement for life. And I wouldn't make that same mistake again because I think in that situation, I stopped doing things that I love to do for the wrong reasons, right? I just felt too tired out and it took me too long to get back into it again. So since then, of course, I've encountered other writing slumps where maybe I just feel like I've lost my creativity or I'm not sure how I can keep writing. I don't have ideas. And I've come up with some things that have helped me and that I've heard from other people have helped them too that I want to share with you. So if you're feeling like that inspiration is gone or that motivation is gone and you just don't want to do it, here are some of the things that you can do. Okay, number one, do it anyway. I know, not what you wanted to hear, but there's a book I love called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers, an old classic. And I think she has the right idea that sometimes we just have to do things we don't feel like doing. The idea is to keep going anyway, even at the most minimal level. So I've said this many times when you have a job, if you don't feel like going to work, too bad. Maybe you can take a day off here or there, but you can't just never go to work for 2 years. You'll lose your job. Or if you have a project due this Friday for your boss, you can't just say, I don't feel like it. I'll get it to you in a couple of weeks. Again, that's not going to go over too well. So we have to implement that same sense of responsibility and consistency with ourselves and just do it anyway. And the idea there is when it comes to a creative pursuit, yes, it's true. You might not be as creative as you would potentially be otherwise, but the fact that you're still writing and still producing will ultimately reignite that creativity and allow that spark to keep you going and going. If you know anything about Stephen King's routine, he says that he writes 365 days a year. He doesn't even take Christmas, New Year's off, nothing. He writes every single day. Now, my feeling is there's no way he's going to be equally creative all of those 365 days. There's no way that the quality of what he writes is going to be the same all of those 365 days. But look at his general output, and it's because he's consistent and he keeps going. A famous blogger, Seth Godin, says the same thing. He set himself a schedule. I don't know if it's every day or every week for him, and he posts a blog post always on that schedule. And he's been very open about it because by now I think he has thousands of blog posts published and books as well. And he says, you know, some of them were, they weren't so great, right? Some of them were really good and some of them were not so good. And that's what happens with your creativity as well. If you're constantly creating an output, some will be better, some will be worse, but within that output, you will find your creativity and some of your best work will come out of it. All right, what's the other thing you can do? Surround yourself with other creative people. So if you know other writers, and it doesn't even have to be writers. I mean, I have a friend who's a visual artist, and I just find the creativity flows when we're together because it's someone else who's talking about creative pursuits. It could be, you know, a baker friend who, if you see some of the cooks and bakers on Instagram, for instance, they're so creative in how they create recipes, how they decorate cakes. It's anything to spark that creative impulse within you. It's sort of the principle of, if you've ever had this happen, I know that when I'm with a group of friends who are really funny and crack a lot of jokes, I'm funnier. It just seems to draw that humor out of me and that inner comedian out of me. So that's what you want to do with your creativity too. You want to surround yourself by people who are creative and will allow that creativity to feel natural and to just emerge from you too. And then you can go back and do your writing again. And the third thing that I'm going to suggest is what I kind of said at the beginning of the video here, which is take a break. Now, my break of 2 years was way, way too long. It was a much slower start when I came back to creativity. I, of course, started enjoying reading again because I had missed it so much, but you don't want to take that much of a break. So, a walk in nature, even just a little staycation at home, or if you can book yourself some time at a hotel. I have one coach who, when she really wants to create materials for her program, she books herself a room at a hotel for a weekend and she just goes by herself and just writes. Now, obviously, we can't all do that. It's expensive if you have a family or whatever, but you can take a little time to yourself, even within your own home. My mom used to take long baths, and I always wondered how could she sit in that tub for like an hour? And then finally, when I got older, I realized it was her escape. She was reading in there, and that was the one place the kids didn't bug her, right? So we all can take a little time off, even going for a walk, anything that's going to break that routine and allow your mind to have a rest, because creativity tends to ferment and grow when our mind is not active and not focusing on other things, particularly if they're anxiety inducing other things. So if you can shift your focus to something positive, pleasant, happy, even for a little while, that's going to do it. Or a situation where you're not thinking at all. This is why so many people are so creative in the shower. Their mind isn't focused on anything else at that time. It has the space for creativity to show up. So those are the three things that I have found work for me: the consistency of habit, doing it anyway, surrounding myself with other people that are going to bring out that creative spark in me, and when necessary, taking a break. And that's how you're going to find that your creativity can be reignited. All right, I hope that helps everybody. Let's all go get back to our writing and do it consistently. And I hope this allows you to be really, really creative. Take care. I'll see you again next time.